Welcome to the NBA's greatest games. Today, we'll take you back into NBA history and relive one of the great matchups as it happened.
Welcome to Hardwood Classics on NBA TV. I'm Mark Fide. Tonight we feature Game 3 of the 2002 Eastern Conference Finals between the 3-seed Boston Celtics and the top-seeded New Jersey Nets. The teams had split the first two games in New Jersey. Game 3, the Nets looked to be in complete control. They opened up a lead as big as 21 points. But led by Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker, the Celtics were not going to be embarrassed on their home floor. Let's take you to the action.
Pedro Martinez and many members of the Boston Red Sox making their way over from Fenway Park after a tough loss to the Yankees today on here at the Fleet Center to cheer on their Boston Celtics. Here in Game 3 of this Eastern Conference Finals, starting lineups: Kenyon Martin, Keith Van Horn, Todd McCullough, Jason Kidd, and Kerry Kittles for head coach Byron Scott, Antoine Walker, Eric Williams, Tony Battie, Kenny Anderson, and Paul Pierce for head coach Jim O'Brien. Nets losing the home court advantage with the loss in Game 2 back in New Jersey. And although Paul Pierce did not play a big game, they were still able to come away with a victory. Never used to be able to say that. It used to be if Pierce and Walker, PJ, didn't play big, they weren't going to have a huge game, but they were able to win despite some problems from their all-stars.
Well, this Boston team is more about defense. The biggest difference in last season and this year is the half-court defense the Boston Celtics are playing for Coach Jim O'Brien.
There you see the record in the postseason, plus add the last 5 regular season wins at home, so they've got a 10-game home winning streak, and the fans have come out in force. This is the first year the Fleet Center has seen the postseason. Of course, the Celtics had missed the playoffs the previous 6 years. Prior to this year, the last time was the last year of the Boston Garden. But boy, Jim O'Brien has done a superb job, and the Celtics certainly have a shot at a 17th NBA championship. But the New Jersey Nets standing in their way. Another team with a tremendous turnaround, and there's some water that has been noticed on the floor. So Jason Kidd and the rest of the 9 players out there wait a couple of extra seconds.
I'll tell you what's been on the floor a lot in this series, Mike, is players from both teams. Any loose ball, you got players all over the place, from the superstars down to the role players. Both of these teams really getting at it, and it's been difficult to score.
You see Paul Pierce waving on the crowd. It's a crowd that hasn't always embraced this team in previous seasons, but they certainly have embraced them this year, appreciating the hard work and the type of attitude that they brought, much like the Celtic teams of old. And of course, a team that's #1 strength is defense.
Well, the players are all Bob Cousy walking in, Sat Sanders, JoJo White. The tradition is here, but more importantly, this Celtic team is playing on this parquet. And there's the man responsible for most of the Celtic glory, Arnold Red Auerbach.
90 playoff wins with the Boston Celtics, their all-time playoff career leader. Meanwhile, Byron Scott has already become the all-time playoff career leader for the New Jersey Nets in their NBA history with 8 wins. So finally the court being cleaned up, and the slight delay will go. You can see the butterflies, or you can, I mean, you look at the players in warming up and the tension before the game, and they've played a lot of big playoff games already, but with each game, the stakes a little higher.
This is the last thing they wanted. These two teams, though, Mike, so similar. Both of them coming from disappointment last year, turning it around on the defensive end. Yes, some trades, some new players, but the trademark of both of these teams now, they went from bottom 10 in the league, both of these teams defensively, to now top 10, and that's why they're still playing in the conference finals.
The officiating crew of Joe Crawford, Billy Spooner, and Bob Delaney making sure the court was dry. Don't want to take a chance of any player slipping and getting hurt. And Tony Battie on the second tip. Celtics control. Kenny Anderson had a nice bounce-back game in the second game after Jason Kidd completely outplayed him in Game 1. They go right to Antoine Walker. Eric Williams the rebound, and he's fouled on the follow. So Williams will shoot 2. And the foul goes against Keith Van Horn.
Antoine Walker with the real good look inside, but unable to finish. But I think Jimmy O'Brien would be happier. Eric Williams has not shot a free throw yet. That's hard to believe because he works the offensive board. You saw it right there. Surprisingly, he's shooting the ball very well from the three-point line in the playoffs.
He has been The unsung hero of the Boston Celtics throughout the season and in the playoffs, shooting the ball so well, giving them extra points, but his key is his defense, and he goes 1 of 2 from the line.
Free throwing has been a problem for the Boston Celtics, led by arguably their best free thrower, Paul Pierce.
Kenyon Martin, quick shot, and he gets the roll. And that's something that Byron Scott wants, patience offensively. The Nets really struggle on the offensive end in Game 2 as the Celtics completely turned around what was a bad defensive performance in the opener. And another foul call against New Jersey. Keith Van Horn has picked up his second one in 39 seconds. So Van Horn will go to the bench, and Richard Jefferson will come in.
Well, that's one of the guys, Keith Van Horn, that we said it was important for him to bounce back and have a game like he did in Game 1. He's not even on the floor a minute.
Ball kicked. Shot clock at 13, so they'll reset it to 14. So the way the matchups are now is Jefferson again. We'll go on Eric Williams, Kenyon Martin on Walker, and Pierce being guarded by Kerry Kittles.
They'll go right in at Kerry Kittles. Paul Pierce will take him to the basket.
Pierce, quick move, kicks it out. Williams wide open for 3. He's been hitting from that range in the playoffs, but not that time.
Paul's got to shoot that.
Kittles fires away. Kerry Kittles rattles in his first, and that could be huge. Kittles had an off game in Game 2. Jason Kidd told us yesterday, he tells Kerry Kittles before every game, be aggressive. He wasn't aggressive that time on defense, but Pierce able to miss it because some good help.
Good call.
Double dribble.
Yes, he did. Jason Kidd thought he was going to throw a pass, kind of grabbed it in his hand, and then put the dribble down again. Joe Crawford right on top of the call. See Jason looking up as he always does. He picks it up. He was going to make a pass. Put both hands on the ball. You can't do that.
Walker double teamed, able to get inside. He rushed it. Time to cuddle the rebound.
It's 4 shots in the paint already for the New Jersey Nets.
And another perimeter jumper. And New Jersey, after shooting so poorly, 33% in Game 2, have come out with their first 3 shots in the field in Game 3. Celtics going in. Anderson off the market, another whistle. And this will go against Tony Battie.
Neither coach is going to be happy with a lot of whistles. Both of these teams like to bang. I think both coaches would prefer the officials just let him go. Officials trying to set the tone early.
Even with Van Horn on the bench, of course, Byron Scott has not been hesitant. Goes with a 10-man rotation, even in the postseason. Has not shortened his bench. And Jefferson has got a lot of big minutes, but Jason Kidd with another turnover. So 2 turnovers early, a rare occurrence for Kidd.
Both teams having a little trouble getting going. Boston wants to go inside. They've been living in the paint, but they haven't been able to convert in close.
Walker gets inside. And a travel. Walker he is excellent at holding onto his pivot foot. He really has excellent footwork, but not that time.
Well, there's the spin right there and the extra step. Bill Spooner with the call.
Both teams, well, especially New Jersey, have implemented his own at times. Celtics don't really like to go to that often as Kidd knocks it down. Jason Kidd. And how about a 4-for-4 start for New Jersey?
New Jersey with the exact start they wanted. They wanted to take the crowd out of the game. 4-for-4 will do it. An 8-1 lead for the Nets.
Pierce. Anderson inside. Blocked from behind by McCullough. Plenty of contact. Here comes Kittles, and he threw it behind Jefferson. Well, New Jersey should be up by double figures, but 3 turnovers have hurt them.
No, they should, but Jim O'Brien's going to tell his team every shot has come from in close in the paint. We got to start finishing inside.
Williams has the height advantage on Jefferson. Spinning inside, Eric Williams. The first field goal for the Boston Celtics took them nearly 3.5 minutes.
It's so important to score against New Jersey to make them take the ball out of bounds and slow down their transition game.
Jefferson left open, and he knocks it down. 5 for 5 from the field for the Nets. This was not expected.
perfect way to start when you're the road team. Sacramento Kings did it last night.
Williams misses a three, and McCullough the rebound. Kidd looking to push the ball up the floor. And a foul call on Kenny Anderson. Jim O'Brien told us #1 key with Kidd, keeping him out of the paint.
Jason's penetration just sets up things. Obviously, he can go to the rim and finish himself or get to the free throw line, but more importantly, that draws the defensive help and gets his teammates involved.
Good help defense from Petit, but his momentum knocks Kidd down. And the foul will go against, I believe, against Eric Williams. So Williams picks up his first. So far, again, you look at New Jersey, 5 of 5 from the field. Is it more of they're just hitting some tough shots, or is the Celtic defense a little lax?
I don't think the defense is lax. I think New Jersey's made shots. Boston can do a better job defensively. It's the offensive end that's got them in trouble.
Pierce got a piece of that last Kittle shot. Walker drives hard to the goal and draws the foul. Kenyon Martin will pick up the personal.
Well, there's no question that Jim O'Brien said, let's get the ball inside. They've been to Antoine Walker a couple times, Paul Pierce. Eric Williams came up with an offensive rebound, but getting it inside is one thing, finishing something else.
Walker way short on the first. Log on to NBCSports.com for in-depth playoff coverage. Steve Jones and former NBA coach Matt Guokas providing analysis on the conference finals and focusing on the key matchup. Plus, you can email Bill Walton your playoff questions and check out his latest mailbag on the hottest topics of the postseason, all at NBCSports.com.
Like 65% for the Celtics in this series of the free throw line coming in, and they're not off to a good start again.
They've missed 7 of their first 8 from the field. And missed a couple of free throws as well. Jefferson has that high arcing shot. And this rookie has played so well all season long for Byron Scott. So it's not a big disaster when Van Horn goes to the bench with early foul problems.
No, they get the points from the bench. Their bench is delivered. It's the starters, Van Horn, Kittles, and McCullough that have to contribute.
McCullough with another rebound. Good transition defense from the Celtics. That is a must when you play the Nets. Jefferson off the mark that time. And Tony Petit hauls it in. Walker with that quick release comes up short. 1 of 10 from the field. Perhaps settling for too many outside shots?
Well, I don't think so. I think they've done a good job getting in. They're just not putting the ball in the basket, and the Nets are making everything they look at. Jim O'Brien wants to talk about this start.
He has seen enough as the New Jersey Nets on the road in a hostile environment have come out. And it's 7 of their first 9 shots from the field. And lead by 10, 6.5 to play. Opening quarter of game 3.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Just over 4 minutes remaining in what has been a disastrous start for the Boston Celtics, trailing 20-6. They've missed 12 of their first 13 from the field. Again, in game 2 of the victory, PG, they didn't shoot the ball well. They shot 34%, but they had 18 offensive rebounds.
Well, they got second shot opportunities, and they defended really well, particularly in transition. They're doing none of that tonight.
Rodney Rogers and Tony Delk both have come into the game, and McCarty throws it away. Celtics have not turned the ball over very much. They're one of the best in the NBA in that department, both regular season and playoffs, but that's their 4th.
They're not defending inside, but some of those points in the paint, that's not half-court offense with the exception of the one Richard Jefferson basket. It's fast breaks. They're just not getting back, and the Nets are getting layups in transition.
Delk on Kidd, and a foul call. Rodney Rogers with his first. And for the Boston Celtics, their 14th foul, so New Jersey will inbound. Lucius Harris comes in, and Kerry Kettles will sit. Harris continues to wear the mask from the broken bone in the side of his face, even though he's been cleared to play without it, but he's superstitious, has been shooting the ball well, wants to keep it on.
It's a good luck mask.
I thought you were going to say good look mask. I was going to disagree.
I think you're correct.
Kidd off the dribble. And Rodney Rogers hauls in the rebound.
Celtics need to be patient, not necessarily each trip down, but there's a lot of time left. You're not going to get it back all at once. They need poise right now.
Ball to McCarty for three. That one in and out, and Kidd off to the races. On the pull-up, Jason Kidd knocks it down. This is a little reminder from last night's game where the Sacramento Kings on the road coming up and just shocking the Lakers with a great start. An 8-0 run right now for New Jersey.
Well, there's no question Boston back on their heels, and that is the way to get back in the game when you're not shooting it from the perimeter. Take the ball to the basket, get layups, or get free throw attempts.
The foul against Lucius Harris. Paul Pierce will shoot two, with the Celtics already in a 16-point hole. 1 of 14 from the field with 5 turnovers. But their defense perhaps trying to get them back in the game. Pierce, coast to coast, can't finish, but chipped in beautifully by Walker.
2 good hustle plays. Walter McCarty got a deflection on the inbounds pass. That caused the steal. Antoine Walker runs the floor and gets the tip in.
Well, we've seen in this series big leads in every game as Aaron Williams and a blocking foul called against Walter McCarty. That's his first, and Aaron Williams will shoot 2. Game 1, New Jersey had a 17-point lead and held on. Game 2, Boston had an 18-point lead and held on. We'll see what develops here in Game 3.
Well, you see the roll to the basket. Jason Kidd finds him. Tough call right there. Bobby Delaney says block. It appeared they were outside the semicircle, so I'm sure he felt they just got there a step too late.
Free throw shooting at times has been downright awful. Not just these teams, but some of the other teams. Now, ironically, the Celtics have been shooting the ball from the line very well prior to this series, and it's mainly Pierce that's been the culprit.
Coaches lose a lot of sleep, Mike. You work so hard to get yourself to the free throw line. When you don't convert, you die.
Walker misses, trying to keep it alive, and Aaron Williams the rebound. Kidd looking for a shot. Allen, I hope he tried to back it. What a steal into Jefferson, and Jefferson is fouled. And Jason Kidd, terrific hustle to set up Jefferson. Looks upset with himself.
Right, that's a Jason Kidd play right there. He almost breaks the backboard on the shot, but then he goes in and call it an offensive rebound, call it a steal. He finds Richard Jefferson. Look at this effort. I'd call that a steal. He just strips Paul Pierce. Ball right back in the lane. Good foul. Don't give him a layup. But the net's back on the free throw line.
Jefferson misses a free throw. Rodney Rogers picked up that foul, his second, so he'll go to the bench. And there you see Jefferson's numbers in the postseason. So a quick appearance for Rogers. Tony Battie back in. Jefferson hit 2 big free throws in game 1 to clinch that victory. But he misses 2 there, and he also had some problems in the Indiana series.
Well, he bounced back after a rookie first round. He played very well against Charlotte in the semifinals.
Dealt for 3. Walker the rebound. Quick follow, and that's an underrated part of his game. He is such a good rebounder. He's got such good hands, even in traffic, can get the big board.
Antoine Walker fills up the stat sheet. Rebounds, assists, yes, of course, points also.
Aaron Williams steps out. Williams had one of his best playoff games. Hasn't played in a lot of playoffs prior to this year, just 3 games with Seattle a few years back. But he had a strong game, too, and his teammates did not.
Byron Scott's really happy with his play. Aaron Williams, one of the few players playing more minutes in the playoffs.
Delt brushed it. Jefferson the rebound. A 14-point New Jersey lead here in the final minute. Celtics just 3 of 20. Kidd misses a 3. Walker taking it to the goal. Inside to Battie. And he's hammered by Kenyon Martin. Martin will pick up his second. So Van Horn.
Kenyon Martin's fouls are not hard to see. He gets a foul, he gets his money's worth. You're not going to get a lot of easy looks when Kenyon Martin's on the floor.
So he has 2. Van Horn has 2. Rogers for Boston with 2. And Tony Battie at the line. Walker's going to sit. Eric Williams checks back in.
Little bit of a chance by Jim O'Brien. Grab Antoine Walker. Little bit of a rest. You have a defensive possession coming up. maybe get him a rest right through the break between quarters.
2.4 seconds difference between shot clock and game clock. Hey, somebody just made 2 straight free throws.
Unbelievable. They're going to have to fix the rims at halftime.
New Jersey will look for a final shot. Again, a couple of seconds difference. Kidd looking inside. Jefferson. Kenyon Martin wide open. That's a 3, and he puts it in. Kenyon Martin, not a three-point shooter. And this one will count if it goes, but way off the mark. And that will end the first quarter. And look at the shooting numbers, including that three-pointer from Martin, which is his first three-pointer of the postseason. 1 quarter complete in Boston. New Jersey with a 15-point first quarter lead.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest game.
Second quarter set to begin at the Bleak Center. Boston certainly glad the first quarter's over as Paul Pierce of the Celtics continue to struggle from the field. Pierce, with that 3 for 20 performance in the last game, has missed his first 5 shots from the field, but he's got plenty of company. Boston, 14%. They've missed 18 of 21. And you see some of the numbers from the opening period. Lucius Harris way off balance, not a good shot, and Walker the rebound.
The bench points, Richard Jefferson set that tone early when he got the opportunity.
And that's more of Tony Batti's range, and he likes that baseline.
He loves the baseline, Michael. That's a good call. Tony Batti very comfortable along either side baseline.
Some guys, it's just a matter, an 18-footer and a 15-footer is a big difference. Anthony Johnson has come in, Jason Kidd getting a breather. Collins, the rookie, offensive foul. He lowered the shoulder, and Tony Batti draws the charge. Collins is first.
Tony Batti with a big play on both ends. Gets set. You see Jason Collins drops the right shoulder. Easy call for the officials.
Collins on Walker. That's a matchup that Boston would like to take advantage of. Williams double. Anderson. Delk. Two-pointer for Tony Delk as Pierce watches.
Double team on Eric Williams. They feel Richard Jefferson can't handle him down under. That opened up Kenny Anderson. He makes the extra pass to Kenny Delk.
Delk hit a big shot in game 2 when the Nets made that charge early in the fourth. He hit a huge three-pointer. And he goes high for the rebound. Those little guys always look more impressive on the boards. He stepped out of bounds. 7 turnovers for the Boston Celtics. And they've only averaged in the first 2 games. They only had 10.5 turnovers a game. The average through the first 2.
Byron Scott's really been concerned. New Jersey's turned it over. They had 6 in the first quarter also. Very sloppy game for these 2 teams.
Jefferson gets past Eric Williams. And Richard Jefferson now 8 points off the bench. He also has 4 assists. Boy, they really needed that with Van Horn in the early foul trouble. They want to get it to Walker against Collins. Collins has the size, but certainly not the quickest off. Great pass, but Anderson can't finish. Antoine Walker set Anderson up beautifully. Anthony Johnson for 3. Hits nothing. Dangerous pass. Walker, left-handed.
Finally, a shot inside goes down. I'm waiting for Jim O'Brien to tell his guys to start shooting nothing but threes. They can't score inside.
Byron Scott is not like the slight shift in momentum and calls timeout.
Richard Jefferson off to a great start. He's quick. Eric Williams struggles. He goes right by him, hits the little pull-up jump shot. Antoine Walker on the opposite end. Jason Collins cannot cover him that far on the perimeter.
Celtics had 3 field goals the entire first quarter. They have 3 field goals already here in the second, and they pull within 11. Celtics with 13 points the entire first quarter. Got 13 in the first 4 minutes of the second. And after trailing by as many as 16, pulled within 6.
There's be a little more noise in the building, Michael.
Anthony Johnson. Martin inside. Tough shot from Kenyon Martin. And they just blew the whistle to make sure the basket counted. Players knocking it around after him. Martin silences the crowd for a moment. He's got 9 points. His kid ready to come back in.
One substitute for Byron Scott, but it's a good one. Kenyon Martin for Jason Collins.
Pierce against Harris. Comes up short. Anthony Johnson the rebound. Harris fires away. That's a 3. Won't go. Aaron Williams has been called for a loose ball foul. And Williams picks up his first.
Those kind of fouls Byron Scott can live with. Offensive rebound attempts coming over the top. Coaches love that kind of hustle.
Kid got about a 4.5-minute breather. Both teams putting up the threes and not being very successful. Kidd is on Walker right now on the switch. Walker again takes it and puts it in. 12 points for Antoine Walker.
Well, one half of the Celtic combination is going strong. Paul Pierce needs to settle down.
Chance of defense there at the Fleet Center. Van Horn knocks one down. Keith Van Horn with his first shot. Again, was hardly played because of the early foul problems. You just don't know. And Byron Scott says this from one game to the next. Is he going to see the aggressive, decisive Keith Van Horn? He certainly could use him here today.
Well, it looked like he had his coming out in Game 5 against Indiana, but he settled back a little bit the last 2 games.
Anderson, good move, didn't finish, and Van Horn gets the quick outlet to Kidd. Martin given an open room. Aaron Williams, the offensive board. Stripped down low. I think it was Kenny Anderson got a hand in there. And a foul on the way down the floor. Keith Van Horn has picked up his 3rd.
Rod Thorne did a fantastic job. We didn't even have enough room on the graphic. Also signing Aaron Williams is having a good day. Every move he's made with New Jersey, starting with Byron Scott, has been an excellent move, and they're all paying dividends early.
New Jersey Nets have cooled off a bit, but still hold on to that 10-point lead. Nice entry pass to Pierce, and he's fouled. And both Jefferson and Pierce go down hard. Anderson with a beautiful bounce pass, and Pierce will go back to the free throw line. Jefferson is second.
Good look by Kenny Anderson inside, Mike. We showed in the open down in New Jersey. Paul Pierce spent a lot of time on his back. He's going to go inside and try and score in close. The New Jersey Nets are going to make him pay. That's just playoff basketball.
Pierce perfect on that first free throw. And there you see, he's always been a solid free throw shooter. In fact, excellent early on in the playoffs, but the big struggles as Batty now will sit down.
80%, 81% from the line in the regular season. Paul Pierce has a great stroke. Your confidence gets a little shaken when you miss a bunch in a row, even when you're as good a free thrower as Paul Pierce.
He just keeps getting to the line. 37 free throws in not even 2.5 games so far. Celtics within 8. Eric Williams went for the steal. And it's called for the foul. 2 on Eric Williams. He's one of those guys that always seems like he's having a great time out there, no matter what the situation, no matter what the game.
He loves to play, and he plays hard. It's a heck of a matchup when he's guarding Kenyon Martin, because you got 2 people who are really ready to battle. The Nets really looking to get Kenyon Martin involved on the offensive end, and he's responded.
Kidd way outside. And Pierce with a strong rebound.
It was a good defensive possession by the Celtics.
Pierce driving, and a blocking foul. Well, Pierce taking a lot of contact as Jefferson has now picked up his 3rd.
Paul Pierce is getting real comfortable with the parquet. You see Richard Jefferson reaches in right there. He doesn't reach in. That could have been an offensive foul, but again, it was caused by the contact out there on the perimeter. Paul Pierce back on the line.
Jefferson reached in first, committing the foul, and Pierce kind of pushed off, but the Nets in the penalty. They call it before the act of shooting, but since it's the 5th penalty, or the 5th foul of the quarter, Pierce to the line. So he's 4 of 5 from the free throw line as Jefferson sits down with his 3 fouls. 4:02 remaining here in the second. A 7-point New Jersey lead, along with P.J. Carlesimo and Lewis Johnson. Mike Green on hand. Nets came out of the blocks, took a 16-point lead. We're on fire. But now you see the free throws starting to help Boston get back into this.
Free throws in a much better defensive effort in the second quarter.
Lucius Harris. McCullough with the offensive rebound. Kittles for 3. And Rogers with the board. Rebounding very close, New Jersey with a 2 rebounding edge.
Well, they're hanging in, but Kerry Kittles continues to struggle from the 3-point line.
That one was halfway down. And a loose ball foul call. Eric Williams has now picked up his 3rd. And that could be costly for the Boston Celtics, so he's going to have to sit for a bit as Walter McCarty comes in.
Eric Williams brings a lot to the floor, not just the fact that he's been shooting it well from the perimeter, but the defense, the rebounding, and Jim O'Brien calls him the middle linebacker of his defense. He's always talking to his teammates.
Harris for 3. Lucius Harris knocks it down. Now, if I'm New Jersey, I get him the ball next time down the court. He is one of the streakiest guys. If he's hot, you've got to get him the ball.
He's always been a big spurt player, and Jason Kidd realizes that. Look for him to find him.
Pierce, bad pass. Harris ahead to Kidd. Boy, he runs the floor and gets an easy 2.
Turnovers continue to hurt the Boston Celtics.
Steal from Kittles. Kittles for 3. And again off the mark. He is now 0 for 13 from 3-point range in this series. And a blocking foul called on Kenyon Martin. That's his 3rd.
Mike, following up on your Kerry Kittles comment, that's a guy who shot 40% from the 3-point line in the regular season.
He was their best 3-point shooter, but really struggling from long range in this Eastern Conference Final.
Well, the masked man gets it started for New Jersey. Jason Kidd finds Lucius Harris right there. Lucius said, guess what? I'm going to return the favor. Turnover. The Nets get out and run, but it's Lucius Harris distributing. Jason Kidd with the finish.
3 Nets now with 3 fouls, including Kenyon Martin.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Thank you very much. Paul Pierce continues to struggle shooting the basketball. Again, 3 of 20 in game 3. Had a great start in game 1, then struggled a bit later. But 1 of 9. PJ, do you think it's a matter, is he rushing his shot? Is he not getting good shots? Or are the Nets just making sure he's not a guy that's going to beat them?
Well, it's a lot more New Jersey Nets. He had a good first quarter, and really from that point on, they're getting into him. They're not letting him get shots without putting the ball on the floor. They're forcing him to take the ball to the perimeter, so he's a little out of his comfort zone. I think it's a lot of New Jersey Net defense, and I think it's Paul's thinking about it right now because he's struggling. Nobody realizes that more than Paul Pierce.
He refuses to give credit. He keeps saying, I'm stopping myself. But the Nets defense is not getting the proper credit all season long. Harris, nice move in the left hand. But New Jersey's defense has been just superb, and that's maybe where Jason Kidd has been as important as his passing and setting up his teammates.
Well, we heard Rod Thorne say what he brought to this team, but of the 3 elements, the defense is the one that's most noticeable in comparison to last season.
They are a terrific defensive team. And they made it very difficult for Pierce. Lewis Johnson tells us that Jim O'Brien during that last timeout pointed out that he told his Celtic team, let's get it down to 7 by halftime. Right now it's 11 with just over a minute and a half remaining. Harris, that's a 2-pointer. Harris perhaps in one of those stretches. He's the oldest player on the New Jersey Nets and has seen a lot of bad times with this team. It's going to spark off the bench. 7 points now. Walker. Collins does a good job keeping him in front. Walker settling for that one.
Well called by good defense by Jason Collins.
Coming up on a minute remaining here in the first half. The New Jersey Nets on the road, bouncing back with a terrific first 2 quarters after a disappointing home loss in game 2. Nice feed inside to Kittles. The ball movement has been exceptional. That's their 17 assists on 23 field goals.
They're all willing to distribute the ball, and Todd McCullough, a big center with good hands, as Kerry Kittles steps in and goes coast to coast.
And just like that, it's the largest lead of the game.
Celtics had it back close. They were back in the game, and then they got careless with turnovers.
And the Celtics hearing some boos from the crowd.
Mismatch out here on the perimeter.
Nets defense exceptional. Good ball movement this time. Walter McCarty hesitating. Can't connect on the 3. And Kidd looks up and says, all right, we'll hold it for the final shot.
Very seldom do you make a shot after you hesitate.
Good ball movement again. Harris hits the 3. A 20-point lead for New Jersey with 7/10 of a second remaining. A stunning first half at the Fleet Center. Celtics certainly have their hands full to try and make one of the biggest comebacks in NBA playoff history. Jim O'Brien's team down by 20. Largest halftime deficit ever overcome to win a playoff game way back in '48. Baltimore winning at Philadelphia, the 21-point halftime deficit. And they'll try and do it with a 20-point deficit. 3 times this season, the Boston Celtics have been down by 18 and have come back to 1. So they certainly have the capabilities, and with the 3-point threat, that possibility is there to go on the run. We nearly saw an unbelievable comeback last night in Los Angeles. Lakers were down huge and came back. But New Jersey playing at all cylinders right now, PJ.
Well, we're going to find out right away. You'll see the energy level of the Boston Celtics in these first couple minutes.
Kittles mishandles it. Shot clock, still plenty of time. 6 left. Kittles makes the move. High arcing shot. And the lead up to 22. This crowd was so fired up at the start of this game, and New Jersey came out, went up 20-6 before the blink of an eye, completely took the crowd out. Boston pulled within 6 at one point, but the Nets kept coming. Ball tipped in nicely by Walker.
Kenny Anderson continues to struggle. 0 for 6 for the Celtic point guard.
Van Horn, foul problems in the first half, floats in, but a bad pass and a turnover.
Well, the one thing that Byron Scott's really got to be concerned about is turnovers, because other than turning the ball over, it's going to be difficult for Boston to come from this far back.
Kenyon Martin. Van Horn. Martin also playing with 3 fouls, as is Van Horn and Jefferson. Martin left-handed. Just kind of flipped it up there, hoping for a foul call. Here comes Walker, hopping in, left-handed. Can't finish.
And the story of the game for the Boston Celtics, missed opportunities inside.
And Kidd knocks down the 2-pointer. This crowd is absolutely stunned. Kenny Anderson gets inside. Ball tipped. Battie right there on the follow. Battie can't hit it. Van Horn the rebound. Kittle's running the floor. Gets past, and he draws the foul. And let's send it over to Lewis Johnson.
Well, Mike, from the first half, the Celtics and their poor shooting and poor defense. And, you know, the coaches coming down the hallway from the locker room were almost speechless. One assistant told me that, you know, at this level, you can't allow teams to shoot uncontested shots. And, of course, only 4 assists. Well, that says a lot. And as for the problems with Paul Pierce, when I asked him about that, nobody had an answer. Now, the Nets, on the other hand, on their way back to the locker room, kept yelling 0-0. 0-0. And I asked them, what does that mean? And they said their philosophy after the first half is that's what the score is. So no matter how good or bad it was in the first half, it's 0-0. They have to do it all over again. Mike?
Thank you, Lewis. It's not a bad approach to take. It's hard to execute it once you're up by those kind of numbers.
It's 5-2 right now. Still good news for the Nets.
Kittle's on a pull-up. Kerry Kittle's finding the stroke. Kittle's now at 13 points. He leads the Nets in scoring. They've got 4 players in double figures. It is hard to believe a 25-point lead. Pierce throws up one that's not even close. Eric Williams with the steal. Walker nails a 3.
Eric Williams playing with his customary energy. Antoine Walker, the lone bright light for Boston on the offensive end.
Nice feed inside. Walker went for the steal. Now he's yelling at Tony Petit. You get the feeling he didn't like the help defense there. And it's back up to 24. The key for Boston is obviously they have to hit shots, but they just have to start playing better defense.
You got to play on both ends. You can't come from this far behind unless you shut the team down. Couple that with the fact that Boston can't throw it in the ocean right now.
25% from the field, what the Celtics are shooting.
Nets are closing in on 60%.
Van Horn drills that one. Keith Van Horn now with 6 points. And this is the latest, largest lead of the game.
Okay, this started out as a great day in Boston. Red Sox win the first 2 games. The Yankees started the bad news today. The New Jersey Nets are continuing the trend.
Anderson with his first field goal. Kenny Anderson had been 0 for 7. And that cuts it to 24. Now, the one thing that can happen, again, we saw it last night in Los Angeles, you get that huge lead so early in a game, you kind of lose your edge a little bit. And sometimes it's very difficult to get it back. And we saw the Lakers make that run at Sacramento. It's so early. I mean, it's human nature to let down a little bit when you get up by such a big margin.
Particularly when it's an early lead. This isn't an early lead. They opened it up late in the second quarter. They haven't looked back.
Kidd left his feet, found McCullough, blocked by Petit, but a foul. Petit with his second. Todd McCullough will shoot 2.
New Jersey just cutting up the Celtics in the half-court offense. They spread you out high and wide. Keith Van Horn with the backdoor cut from the opposite side. Jason Kidd finds him. That's the play Antoine Walker was upset about because he didn't get help. Now a little bit of a dribble move. Keith Van Horn is such a field player. When he's comfortable and playing with confidence, he's totally different. When he struggles, it's very evident.
McCullough missing the first free throw and knocking down the second. Van Horn 6 points and 4 boards. New Jersey by 25. All 3 games in the series so far, they've been big double-digit leads. Pierce, double team, and able to put in. That's what he sees every time he puts the ball on the floor. Okay, gets by 1. There's another one right there. They have done an excellent job of double teaming, but then recovering and rotating after somebody picks him up.
Well, they're helping out. Kerry Kittles normally doesn't get the defensive assignment on Paul Pierce, but he's done a great job today making Paul work to even catch it. And even when he does catch it, you know Jason Kidd's always going to be lurking. Kittles makes Pierce put the ball on the floor. That takes him right into Jason Kidd. He's working to even get a good shot at the basket.
Pierce with a couple of deflections on the last 2 net passes.
Byron Scott's tried a lot of defenders. He likes Kenyon Martin on Paul Pierce. He likes Richard Jefferson, but Kerry Kittles has done an exceptional job today.
Bad pass from Martin. Walker steps back for the 3. And McCullough the rebound. Walker hearing some boos. Again, that's his shot, and Jim O'Brien likes him to take it, but you can get a better shot than that, especially in that particular transition point.
Well, Tony Petit was quoted as saying it's been great having the crowd as revved up as they are.
McCullough blocked. Second effort puts it in.
But to finish that point, he said, hey, Boston fans are used to winning and they're going to turn. We don't play well, they let us know. Players don't mind that. They know better than anybody how poorly they're playing right now. They're going to get a little more from Jim O'Brien.
And Keith Van Horn has just picked up his 4th foul, giving a little bit of lip service to Billy Spooner right now. Right now, the main concern for Byron Scott is that the timer keeps starting the clock every time the ball's in bounds. And a foul as Pierce went to the hole. Kerry Kittles with a bump. And Kittles picks up his first. These are those games where you keep looking up at the clock. You're up by so much. It's still 6:11 left. You can't wait for the time to tick down. There's so much time remaining. Over 18 minutes left in this game. Anderson inside.
Anderson misses his first 7, gets 2 in a row to go. But what surprised me, Mike, I thought Boston would come out with more energy and purpose to start the second half, and I've not seen evidence of that yet.
Van Horn rushed that shot. Walker with his 6th rebound. And the shooting numbers, 55% for New Jersey, 28% for the Celtics, who turn it over for the 12th time. Van Horn. And wisely, Nets will take some time off the clock. Again, you get so caught up in a guy's shooting percentage. Nice feed inside from McCullough. What a perfect pass from Jason Kidd. I was going to say, PJ, you get so caught up in, the poor shooting, and you tend to forget the defense, but New Jersey's defense has really been the star of this game.
There's no question, Mike. Neither of these teams gets credit. You don't see evidence of it today from the Celtics, but the reason these teams are so improved is the defensive end.
And there's more defense. Jason Kidd helping out there, drawing the charge, and Rogers will pick up his 3rd.
Jason Kidd, this is a pick and roll. They think he's looking for Kenyon Martin, but he sees Todd McCullough stepping in on the opposite side. That's just great pick and roll execution by the Nets.
Van Horn, that's a 2 for Van Horn. Eric Williams, good boxing out, grabs the board. The Boston Celtics down by 25, in desperate need of a good run. Rogers somehow finds some room to get that ball in.
Nets kind of walk it up. They want to execute a little bit in the half court right now.
New Jersey has not lost 2 straight games in the playoffs as Kittles puts that one down. Every time they've lost a game in the postseason, like game 1 against Indiana, they've bounced right back. So no 2-game losing streaks. Of course, Boston once lost 2 in a row in the Philadelphia series, losing games 3 and 4. Anderson finding the stroke, rattles it in.
Boston used their home court to win in the first round. They stepped back with the bounce-back win themselves against Detroit in round 2.
Celtics finally got their shooting percentage over 30%. Now they need to make some stops. Offensive foul. Todd McCullough pushing off to get free. And McCullough picks up his first.
When Rodney Rogers is on the floor playing the 5 spot and defending Todd McCullough, the Nets love to look inside. You saw Jason Kidd find him on the pick and roll. They wanted to go inside again. Todd maybe a little bit too aggressive trying to get himself open.
McCullough sits down with 11 rebounds. He's the leading rebounder in the game. Pierce. Kittles goes straight up. Does a good job contesting the shot. Martin falling away. That's a bad shot. Rogers the rebound.
Exactly right. They want to push it, the New Jersey Nets do, but they don't want a quick shot unless it's a good look. Celtics can't even get a good look. Paul Pierce wanted Antoine Walker inside, just threw it out of bounds. Too high a pass.
You almost get the feeling, Pierce feeling a little pressure. He's really pressing the issue, trying to make the big play. Struggling shooting and now turning it over. Aaron Williams drops it in.
Celtics are just back on their heels. New Jersey Nets the opposite. They're taking it to them. This game very, very similar to game 1, except that early in the 3rd quarter in game 1, Boston made a little bit of a move.
McCarty, Jefferson, excellent defense staying in front. Then a pretty fast block from behind by Kerry Kittles. Nets making all the defensive plays. Kittles wide open. And McCarty the rebound.
Well, the one constant has been Kerry Kittles' 3-point shooting.
He's 0 for 14 from 3-point range in this series. Now, he's played a strong game. 15 points, 6 boards, and a strong defense on Pierce. And Walker turns it over. This has been a disaster for the Boston Celtics. Kittles can't finish, and Kidd just takes it away. And that's the epitome of the game right there.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest game.
As Rogers makes the steal off Aaron Williams, there's Kidd in pursuit, knocks it away. It's Jason Kidd and his defense. Kenny Anderson called for a travel. So much is made of Jason's Kidd's, his flashy passing. I mean, no one's better at finding the open man, at seeing the floor, but he sees the floor equally on the defensive end.
He sees the floor on the defensive end. He draws charges. He's one of the best in the league at creating steals. He sets the tone for this team by how hard he plays on both ends. Talk to the net players. They talked about, Todd McCullough told us yesterday, what impresses him is the way Jason Kidd practices every day. You're talking a 4 straight year first-team All-NBA player, 3 times first-team All-NBA defensive team. When your best player plays like that, everybody else falls in line.
He's going to shoot a technical foul as Rodney Rogers, upset with that last call for the technical.
Well, frustration obvious for the Boston Celtics. You can't help but be frustrated. Play as well as they played. You've finally got a home game in the conference finals, and you fall flat on your face. You better believe they're frustrated.
Well, let's look for a negative from the New Jersey Nets. They're 3 of 9 from the free throw line. And that's where it ends, because it has been a superb performance from them.
The more aggressive team has won every game. Even in game 2, when both teams struggled to score, clearly the Celtics were the more aggressive team. In game 1 and so far this afternoon, only one aggressive team.
Kidd called for travel, then has some words with Paul Pierce afterwards. Crowd getting on Jason Kidd. Kidd is not a talker on the floor. We're going to have double technicals against Pierce and Kidd. Smart move from Joe Crawford. Again, perhaps maybe in this game it's not going to matter, but what this does, you don't shoot free throws on a double technical. It has you 1 technical foul away from being automatically ejected.
You got a couple of native Californians that have played against each other a lot. You got a Northern-Southern California rivalry. These two guys really respect each other, but Paul Pierce is just devastated right now with his struggles.
Rogers really going at it. That basket will not count. Foul on New Jersey before the shot. It'll be their 3rd team foul, and he'll take it out of bounds. Let's go back down the other end of the floor with Kidd and Pierce after the traveling violation on Jason Kidd.
Well, you see the split right there. Paul Pierce tries to draw an offensive foul, but he's got both arms up. He's got his elbows and his forearms up, and Jason Kidd's just telling him, I don't care if you step in, but keep those elbows down. Probably use different words, though.
Pierce off the mark. Pierce now 2 of 14 from the field. And an offensive foul call against Aaron Williams, pushing off down low to try and get position on Pierce. Williams picks up his 2nd.
Well, Bobby Delaney, Joe Crawford, and Bill Spooner, the officials right now, the one thing they're going to make sure this game does not get out of control. Anything that looks like a little bit chippy, they're going to blow the whistle right now.
If you ask referees, sometimes these are the hardest games to officiate. A close game is not, because players are concentrating their focus. Game like this, there's frustration setting in. There's players that lose focus a little bit. Delk goes hard and draws the foul, and Tony Delk will shoot 2.
Mike, let me amplify your comments. This is a hard game to play in. Every player will tell you that. It's a hard game to coach as Tony Delk tries to go to the basket. Aaron Williams and Kenyon Martin are not allowing a layup. It's a hard game to broadcast. It's a hard game to do anything.
Aaron Williams with his 3rd foul. Every game with you is up. No, I'm not going to say that. No, it's it. Our Memorial Day weekend coverage of the NBA playoffs rolls on tomorrow at 5 Eastern. Chris Webber and the Kings now up 2-1 face the Lakers at the Staples Center. Then on Memorial Day Monday at 3 Eastern, the WNBA on NBC returns. The Sparks, who won today, take on the Houston Comets. And following the WNBA, Game 4 this series between the Celtics and the Nets. NBA playoffs all weekend long, only on NBC. 23-point lead, final minute, 3rd quarter. Nets had the big first half lead and have continued to build on it. Kidd fires away, and Tony Battie the rebound.
This kid did well to catch that pass, Mike.
Anderson goes inside, and an offensive foul call on Kenny Anderson. Jason Kidd draws yet another charge as Anderson picks up his second.
Kenny thought Jason was moving. Let's take a look at it right there. He did move, but it looks like he got himself set in front. Joe Crawford. Offensive foul is the call.
You do not have to have your feet set to draw an offensive foul. And that time Kidd just got in front. A very close call. And you see the clock over the Boston Celtic basket is out. So they're checking that. It's fine down the other end. And the big scoreboard up top is fine.
Well, I got news for you, Mike. If there's a shot clock they don't need, it's the one on top of the Celtics basket right now.
I think the Celtics wouldn't mind if the entire scoreboard went out. 74-51. About a 2-second difference between shot and game clock.
I like to put the ball in Jason Kidd's hand and then run a little play for Kerry Kittles under.
Kidd loses it. Nice save that time by Tony Petit. Final seconds of the third quarter. Tony Delk, excellent feed, and Rogers able to put it in. Jefferson from three-quarters court, and that will do it. Ending the third quarter. Paul Pierce continues to struggle after his 3-for-20 performance, 2 of 14 here in Game 3. Jason Kidd, meanwhile, strong play. We'll be back after these messages and a word from the local station.
Welcome back to Hardwood Classics on NBA TV. We continue our look back at Game 3 of the 2002 Eastern Conference Finals between the Celtics and the Nets. Down 20 at halftime, things would not get much better for the Boston Celtics in the third quarter. But between the third and fourth quarters, Antoine Walker yelled at Paul Pierce and the rest of his Celtic teammates. Pretty soon, well, all of the Fleet Center was yelling. Let's get back to the action.
Clock is fixed. Fourth quarter set to begin in Boston as the Nets have pummeled the Boston Celtics. Paul Pierce struggling. He's been complaining to officials, and he just heard it pretty good from his teammate Antoine Walker in the huddle the last time. Walker let the team have it and also let Pierce have it. Told him to stop whining, stop worrying about officials and no calls. And he said to the team, hey, the Nets are laughing at us right now.
I think that was the gist of the message. They're disrespecting us right now. We can't back down. We got to play. It doesn't matter whether we win this game or not. We got to go back at the Nets right now.
Jefferson, the latest to guard Pierce. Nice quick move. Of course, Pierce is a big-time fourth-quarter player, but if the Celtics put themselves in too big a hole to make it matter. Tony Petit was limping as he ran up the floor, and they forced a turnover.
Not too big a hole if the Nets turn the ball over.
Walker against Van Horn, goes right at him left-handed. And just like that, it's cut to 17. This is the closest they've been in the second half.
This is what I thought I'd see in the beginning of the third quarter, Mike.
But they still have a long uphill climb. Have an entire quarter to do it. Jefferson, nice reverse move, doesn't finish, and Pierce the rebound. And a foul called on Richard Jefferson. Not a smart play, and Jefferson has picked up his fifth.
Well, the two superstars, you saw them talking at the timeout between the quarters. Paul Pierce responds right away. Antoine Walker says, I'm just not talking. I'll show you what I mean. He also goes right to the basket.
Tony Petit, short.
I don't think that's the shot Jimmy O'Brien wanted.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Mike, I can't stress enough, it's not just this afternoon. Is the game over? No way. But it's more important for the Celtics in this series to step up and respond right now.
Pierce draws the foul and one. Somehow held on. And he's got a chance for a three-point play. The Celtics have cut it to 15.
Paul Pierce again puts the ball on the floor. That's a careless foul right there. If you're not going to foul him hard, let him shoot a layup. Don't give him 3 points.
And a 14-point deficit now for the Boston Celtics in the crowd. very much back into it as Tony Delk got a little too aggressive that time. And Delk picks up the personal. That's his first.
We talked about the need for poise from the Celtics early on when they fell behind. Right now, the New Jersey Nets cannot fall back on their heels. They've got to execute aggressively on the offensive end.
Lucius Harris tries to draw the foul. Oh, they wave it off. The ball above the cylinder. Offensive interference. If any of the ball is above the cylinder, you can't touch it. That's a great play from Jefferson, but it looks like it should have been negated.
It's a big-time play from Richard Jefferson. You'd love to see that.
Pierce gets past Jefferson again and puts it in.
No New Jersey net help defense. That's 4 plays. The Celtics have taken it to the rim.
A 9-0 run in 2 minutes. Standing ovation at the Fleet Center. Nets need a timeout.
Paul Pierce puts the ball on the floor, but it's less what they're doing on the floor. It's what went on between the quarters. The Celtics are responding to Antoine Walker's challenge.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
One interested spectator, Commissioner David Stern, now with our Lewis Johnson.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. Well, Commissioner, I'm sure you're loving this live. What a scene. How about the history of all you've seen, and now this again here with the Boston Celtics?
Basketball is back in Boston. It doesn't get any better for the fans than this.
What do you think about the Celtics now returning to the court after 14 seasons, back to the Eastern Conference Finals, I should say?
You know, look at the way they're being appreciated. They're an exciting team, but so are the Nets, and we've got a couple of great series going.
Well, enjoy. Good to see you here.
Thank you. See you in Metro or on the road.
All right, get some earplugs, Commissioner. Mike, back to you.
Pierce down the other end. Thank you, Lewis. Well, last shot, not a good one for New Jersey. They're starting to rush things. Pierce trying to draw the foul on Van Horn. Walker with 8 on the shot clock. And a foul on Kittles. 13 foul against New Jersey. Second on Kittles. Boston will take it out.
I like the decision by Paul Pierce, Mike. He didn't settle for the jump shot. He went to Antoine Walker. He tried to get into the paint. The Celtics already with 4 field goals inside this quarter.
Pierce doubled. Anderson left wide open. Puts it in. 11-0 run. You wonder, because coming back from such a large deficit takes a lot out of you, how much you will take out of Boston. But right now, the adrenaline is just pumping. Aaron Williams. That's a big shot from Aaron Williams.
It's a huge shot, but in answer to your question, Mike, it doesn't matter. The Celtics are back playing. That's the more important factor.
Walker drives hard. Can't finish, and Lucius Harris with the rebound. Kittles lost it down the back. Tony Delk tips it. Looking to hustle for the play, and Jason Kidd comes up with it. And then Aaron Williams throws it away.
Turnovers, the biggest enemy of the New Jersey Nets right now. Kenny Anderson made a good defensive play to disrupt Kerry Kittle's trip to the basket.
In the first 2 games of the series, big leads were built. Comebacks came, but they fell short. This was the biggest lead built as the team misses. Anderson with the steal, and he draws the foul. And Kenny Anderson will shoot 2 as Lucius Harris picks up his 3rd.
The Boston Celtics start this quarter with 11 straight points. No field goal bigger today than that one by Aaron Williams for the New Jersey Nets. Mike, but how about Kenny Anderson? Same thing Jason Kidd has done twice today. Strips the offensive rebounder, creates an opportunity.
This is the free throw, and free throw so huge in this game. in terms of trying to get back into it. Boston has shot well from the line. They're 16 of 20, but every free throw enormous right now when you're down by double thirds of road.
They'll need more than the 80% free throw shooting. New Jersey Nets right now executing and taking care of the ball. They're closing in on 20 turnovers.
Only 4 minutes have gone by here in the fourth, so still plenty of time. Harris, nice feed to Williams. Pierce picking up the personal. Lucius Harris with a pretty pass. Second foul on Pierce.
The New Jersey bench continues to produce for Byron Scott. Lucius Harris, great penetration, draws the help. Aaron Williams can't finish again. Good foul by Paul Pierce.
Aaron Williams, 83% from the free throw line in this series. Next Saturday, 3 Eastern, the French Open returns to NBC. For American Andre Agassi, the French Open victory in '99 made him only the 5th male player in tennis history to complete the career Grand Slam. French Open returning to NBC next Saturday at 3 Eastern.
Aaron Williams, less than 19. He's almost 5 minutes more a game than he was in the regular season because he's producing in the playoffs.
At both ends, Pierce inside. Paul Pierce already in this fourth quarter has 9 points. He led the NBA in fourth quarter points 26 times during this season, 5 in the playoffs. He's reached double figures in just the fourth quarter alone. Harris, Williams again. Aaron Williams with a terrific shot, plenty of contact. Both teams upset, but team wanted an offensive foul and Williams wanted the defensive foul.
Referees laid out both of the calls. Talking about Paul Pierce's fourth quarters, Mike, no team has he torched more in the fourth quarter this season than the New Jersey Nets.
And that one game where he had 46 of his 48 in the second half against him. Tony Dent hits the three. Boston just 3 of 15 from downtown, but that was a big one. Kittle's coming inside, and he draws the foul. The third team foul. Let's see if they call the active shooting.
Paul Pierce looks like a different player this quarter. The confidence, great spin move right to the rim. The help is too slow coming. Tony Delt is instant offense. You can't give him that good a look.
Kittles gets the roll. That last foul against Tony Petit, his third, as he discusses it with Bob Delaney. Rodney Rogers comes back in. And Petit's going to sit. Petit 6 points, 9 boards.
Aaron Williams has come alive. I think Jim O'Brien feels Rodney Rogers may be a better defensive matchup against the very active Aaron Williams.
Well, the Nets have struggled from the line all game, but they've hit 4 in a row here. 4 big ones. And they're back up by 12. Pierce inside, puts it in. He has 11 points in 5.5 minutes of this fourth quarter. And now 20 for the game. It's almost like a light switch was turned on. Maybe that switch turned on by Antoine Walker. Kittles misfires. Kenyon Martin high for the rebound. And he draws the foul.
No accident. The aggressive players are stepping up for the Nets. But how about Paul Pierce? Splits the defense even though Jason Kidd is there. Great body control. Watch him turn his shoulder to avoid Jason Kidd and gets to the rim. He avoids the offensive foul and has the physical presence to finish. But Aaron Williams and Kenyon Martin, they're the aggressive New Jersey Nets along with Jason Kidd. They're the guys making it happen and missing.
Martin hits the free throw. The last foul on Walker, his third. That was a very big rebound for Kenyon Martin. Only his third of the game. Another missed free throw. Hit 5 in a row prior to that. Kenny Anderson bumped by Aaron Williams. And the Nets in the penalty.
Excuse me, Mike, good recognition by Kenny Anderson. Rodney Rogers switched out on him. He was trying to help. Kenny Anderson just put it right on the floor. We see Paul Pierce walking around very gingerly right now.
card will go to the line for 2. Anderson was 0 for 7 from the field at one point. He was in his last 4 shots. Knocks down that free throw. 10-point game. We're exactly at the midway point of the 4th quarter. The Boston Celtics were getting embarrassed on their home floor. Were booed by their fans. Getting whacked by as many as 26 points in the second half. Suddenly come alive here in the 4th quarter. That after a pretty verbal fashion by Antoine Walker in the huddle prior to the start of the 4th. He let his teammates know he was not happy. And they got it to single digits. Rodgers goes for the fake. Blocking foul. And one. Walker will pick up his 4th. And Aaron Williams, who's really out there for his defense and rebounding, makes another nice offensive play.
Well, so much for my theory that Rodney Rodgers is a better defensive matchup. Aaron Williams goes right around him, absorbs the contact. Watch him take the hit right there from Antoine Walker. Little step back jump shot. Excellent play by Aaron Williams.
Meanwhile, Aaron Williams, who had a playoff career-high 16 points in Game 2, now has 16 points in Game 3. He has been just an enormous player off the bench for Byron Scott. Lead back to 12, just over 5.5 to play here in his 4th. A huge turnaround, but still an uphill climb for the Celtics. Kenny Anderson inside. And Anderson is in his last 5 shots from the field.
I think the Nets were in zone there. Looked to be a little bit confused, but Jason Kidd didn't go through with Kenny Anderson. I think they showed a 2-3 zone. Kenny Anderson just went right to the rim.
Trying to fight over a screen. Kittles, Pierce with him. Kittles, nice adjustment, blocked by Tony Delk. 2-on-1. Delk inside. Can't finish. And Harris the rebound.
Tony Delk is not a point guard. You've got to finish that fast break opportunity.
Kidd. Ball tipped by Harris, but right to Delk. Delk for 3. And gets his own rebound. Chips it to his teammate. Kenyon Martin bumped by Walker. Nice feed inside. And Rodney Rodgers is fouled. He'll go to the line for 2.
Antoine Walker with good recognition. He finds Rodney Rodgers down underneath.
Aaron Williams picks up his 5th.
Walker looks under. Aaron Williams tries to come over. That's going to be a big foul, Mike. Normally we wouldn't be that concerned, but Aaron Williams right now has been the glue for the Nets.
Big free throws for Rodgers. Hits the first. Coming up next, join NBC for a special presentation when New York's bravest meet New York's finest on the gridiron. You won't want to miss this annual celebration of New York's heroes. Takes on a special meeting, of course, this year with those who courageously lost their lives on September the 11th. America's heroes, the firemen versus the policemen, next on NBC. This is the closest the Celtics have been in the second half. They've trailed by as many as 26 and now down by 8. Williams has been the offensive spark for New Jersey. Harris, Martin, the offensive board. Still plenty of time, just under 4.5 to play. And that's where the Nets want the ball in the hands of Jason Kidd. Kittles, nice move to get rid of Pierce. And Kerry Kittles has returned after a nightmare shooting game in Game 2.
Let's credit Kenyon Martin with the huge offensive rebound.
Tony Delk. Again, getting close, but lost the ball. And a reaching foul is going to go. Jason Kidd called for the foul. And Rodney Rodgers will shoot free throws again.
Started with an offensive rebound. Kerry Kittles with the good hesitation and the pump fake. He doesn't want to take a 3-point shot. That's a good decision. He gets into a more comfortable range.
Kidd picks up just his first foul. It's amazing Kidd who plays so aggressively on defense. He didn't foul out at all this year. All the minutes that he plays as Rodgers hits that one. In fact, he's had 5 different seasons where he is not fouled out, despite his aggressive physical presence on the defensive end.
He's got great hands, and the officials respect his defensive presence. He gets a little bit of slack, but it's deserved. He's an all-defensive player.
Big free throws from Rodney Rodgers. 8-point game, just under 4 to play. A standing ovation here at the Fleet Center. against Walker. Martin rushed the shot. Rebound tipped and taken by Delk. Boston Celtics trying to make one of the great playoff comebacks in NBA history.
Plenty of time.
Good poise here for Boston. Pierce inside. Wild shot. Rebound taken by Aaron Williams. Stolen by Rodgers. Inside and a foul. And Martin tries to hold up Rodgers after a hard foul. I heard a second whistle, which sometimes signifies a flagrant, but I don't think so on that one.
Now the officials all looked at each other. Bobby Delaney and Joe Crawford made eye contact with Bill Spooner. I think what they said was he wasn't trying to hurt him.
Martin, of course, who had a number of flagrant fouls this season. In fact, was suspended a number of games because of it, but that time just looked like a good, clean, hard foul.
Rodney goes to the basket. Grabbed him by the shoulder, but then helped him from falling down.
Just a good hard foul that time. Rodgers, meanwhile, 4 for 4 from the line here in this fourth quarter.
The turnover caused the play right there. Now Rodney Rodgers comes in. Kenyon Martin reached out. You've got to allow a little slack in the playoffs.
Rodgers now 20 for 21 from the free throw line in the postseason, and it's a 6-point game. They've sliced 20 points off what looked like an insurmountable lead. Walker knocks it away. Martin inside. Williams can't finish. Martin tips it. Delk with the save. Anderson. Delk inside. Back out to Anderson. And Anderson looking for a better opportunity. Walker fouled. Won't go. But 2 more free throws coming up. This building ready to explode.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest game.
After being dominated for the first 3 quarters of this game, the Boston Celtics exploding here in the fourth, and perhaps on the verge of the greatest fourth quarter comeback in NBA playoff history. They were down by 21 to start this fourth quarter. Phoenix defeating Houston down 18 to start the fourth back in '94. And that one took overtime. Walker, big free throw. 5-point game.
Mike, they're defending. Their defense has been better each successive quarter. And the New Jersey Nets are helping them with turnovers. The Nets, 20 turnovers, have led to 20 Celtic points.
And the Celtics 12 of 13 from the free throw line in this fourth period. Kidd double team. Nice feed to Williams, who's fouled hard. And Aaron Williams, who's made the key buckets for New Jersey. There hasn't been a lot of them here in the fourth. He'll shoot 2 more as Antoine Walker has picked up his 5th.
Another good look from Jason Kidd, and now the go-to man for the New Jersey Nets, Aaron Williams, with 9 points already for the Nets in the fourth quarter.
And he hits another free throw. 2:29 remaining. The Celtics were trailing by as many as 26 in the third quarter. Their body language seemed to feel, or make you feel, that this one was over. But Antoine Walker with an emotional speech, yelling at his teammates, especially yelling at Paul Pierce prior to the beginning of the fourth, perhaps igniting this Boston Celtic team. Pierce inside, he draws the foul on the pass. But again, New Jersey in the penalty. And free throws coming up from Paul Pierce. Jason Kidd picks up his 2nd. And Pierce to the line. This was Walker prior to the start of the fourth quarter. He yelled at his team. He yelled at Pierce. And they have responded. Pierce, meanwhile, 6 of 7 from the line today.
Mike, you made the point early as Paul Pierce continues to struggle at the line. You made the point early. Jim O'Brien said what an intelligent basketball player Antoine Walker is and how much he respects his basketball IQ. That might have been a little emotional, but he got his point across.
So Pierce, 1 of 2. 5-point game coming up on 2 minutes remaining. Getting close to a double dribble there. Kills for 3. Tony Delpit. All 6'2" of Tony Delp, and that's stretching it with a big rebound. Walker against Martin. Lost it, got it back, flipped it up, won't go. Rebound Walker, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Kidd. They'll get a new 24 with 1:42 remaining and trailing by 5.
Good effort by Antoine Walker. He lost the handle going up on the shot and did well to hustle back for the rebound.
Both teams in the penalty. Both teams with 2 timeouts plus a 20. Pierce inside, puts it in.
Jason Kidd, the Nets' best defender, is trying to contain Paul Pierce down the stretch.
Paul Pierce has 14 fourth-quarter points. It's a 3-point game. Harris inside. Offensive foul. Rodney Rogers steps in and draws the charge.
With great help, defense gets himself set outside the restricted area. Clear-cut charge.
Pierce, and he's down on his way to the basket. Jason Kidd picks up his 3rd. And Pierce will shoot 2 more free throws with 1:07 remaining.
These 2 players had words early. Byron Scott is always going to put Jason Kidd on the best offensive player in late game situations. That's Paul Pierce right now. So far, Paul Pierce has the advantage.
Shooting better from the line. And he kind of coaxed that one in. He didn't like it when he released it.
The Nets have got to take care of the ball, Mike. They're killing themselves on the offensive end with turnovers.
1-point game. Nets have turned it over 5 times in the 4th. The Celtics have yet to turn it over in the 4th. And Byron Scott wants timeout. It is deafening at the Fleet Center. Byron Scott has watched his Nets blow a 26-point second-half lead. They led by 21 after 3, and now it's a 1-point Nets advantage.
Like I watched Byron that timeout. He intentionally did not talk to his team for a while. He just wanted to go in at the end of the timeout and make 1 point to them that it's time to step up right now.
Celtics' only lead of this game was 1-0. They hit the opening free throw. Jason Kidd kills for 3. Way off the mark. Here comes Walker. Good defense from Kidd. Pierce. Pierce will go to the line with a chance to give the Celtics their first lead since the opening seconds. Kenyon Martin is fouled out. And there you see. This is all time in the playoffs and leading by 19 points plus entering the 4th quarter. You see a perfect number there. And Kidd hits the big free throw to tie the game.
Mike, if I'm the New Jersey Nets, if there's one shot I did not want in that possession, it's a Kerry Kittles 3-point shot.
Celtics lead. Amazing comebacks in NBA history. 22nd timeout called by New Jersey. This crowd is absolutely delirious. It's not the old Boston Garden, but it certainly feels like it today.
It certainly is not. Incredible defense by the Boston Celtics, helped by a tentative New Jersey Net offense. Turnovers. Aaron Williams Sixers offense trying to keep them in. A couple of big Kenyon Martin offensive rebounds, but the Nets walking around dazed right now.
Paul Pierce with 18 of his 27 here in the fourth. Again, where would the Nets be without Aaron Williams? The Celtics have scored 38 points in this fourth quarter. Kittles drives hard and throws it away. Here comes Anderson. Blocked by Kittles, but a goaltend. Celtics go up by 3. 29.8 remaining. This entire building on its feet. And the Nets call a timeout. At the Fleet Center, this was the free throw by Paul Pierce that give the Celtics the lead.
Boy, this place has just erupted. No one has sat down since. Paul Pierce got it going. JoJo White, the Celtic great, leading the cheers. No one has been quiet since.
Now for New Jersey, this game is far from over. They're shell-shocked right now, but they have to keep their heads in it. They certainly have a chance to still win.
It's a one-possession game. Doesn't have to be 3 necessarily right now.
Kittles. Van Horn, blocked by Walker. Rebounded by Pierce. And they foul Pierce with 17.6 remaining. Antoine Walker with a huge block. Nets were just thinking 3, and they didn't really have to as Pierce shaken up on the play.
Keith Van Horn. Antoine Walker reaches in. I don't know what he got a piece of right there.
That's also a very dangerous play. He fouls him there, and that's close. It's 3 free throws. Meanwhile, Boston will call timeout. Aaron Williams, who committed the foul on Pierce, has fouled out of the game. There's still 17.6 seconds remaining, and the Celtics still need to hit some free throws. Pierce will go to the line.
Paul Pierce was holding his right arm, Mike. I don't know where he got hit, but he was showing that to trainer Eddie Lassert on the bench.
Celtics huge at the free throw line. It's always the last thing you talk about in terms of the difference between winning and losing, but so often, especially in the postseason, it makes the difference. Pierce is going to go to the line where the Celtics have hit 19 of 21 in this fourth quarter. Clutch free throw shooting from Boston.
Well, Paul Pierce stepped up after he struggled the entire game, too. Made 4 huge free throws for the Celtics at the end of the game.
Pierce in the fourth quarter, as you see, he has 18 points. He's 6 of 7 from the line in the fourth. So many problems in the first 2 games at the line, but he seems to have settled himself in. But we wonder the effect that that'll have. Obviously, it's a shooting hand.
Moving his fingers. Looks like he feels he's lost the touch. If anything, he's had to touch the entire fourth quarter.
Key right now for New Jersey is they're out of timeout, so they can't advance the ball with a timeout. Byron Scott absolutely shocked by what he's seen. The Nets led by 26. They were coasting as they were humiliating the Celtics on their home floor. They're like the turn of a switch, the turn on a light. The Celtics are erupting here in the fourth.
No timeouts left for the New Jersey Nets, so this is potentially a 2-possession game, and they can't advance the ball.
Really short. This is a very big free throw right here. Aaron Williams is done. Valiant in his effort. Pierce hits the second 4-point lead. They've got to score in a hurry. Don't necessarily need a 3. Kidd puts up the 3. Won't go. Kittles back to Kidd. A wide open 3. Off the mark. Knocked out of bounds. Still New Jersey ball with 5.4 remaining.
2-possession game. The Celtics can do anything but foul.
Kidd for 3. Blocked by Rodgers. Knocked loose. Harris has it. Kidd for 3. And the Boston Celtics with the greatest fourth quarter comeback in NBA playoff history. as the Celtics take a 2-1 lead in this best-of-7 Eastern Conference Final. What seemed to be an insurmountable New Jersey lead turns into a devastating Nets loss.
Devastating is not the word. The Boston Celtics just kept coming back.
41-16 in the fourth. Let's go to Lewis Johnson.
Mike Breen, thanks a lot. Down by as many as 26, 41 points in the fourth quarter. Paul, can you just describe this transformation of this team? Come back and take the victory.
Well, we got a never die attitude, you know. Coach said, some way, somehow, we're going to win this game. And everybody believed that was the key. Nobody gave in to what the lead was. We all believed in it. And we just sucked it up in the fourth quarter and got it done.
The $64,000 question, Paul, is what happens to you today in the first three quarters that you couldn't do in the fourth quarter?
Well, they did a good job of trapping me every time I got the ball, every time I penetrated. And they sent 2 or 3 men after me. But in the fourth quarter, I'm a whole different player, you know. The game's on the line, and that's where I think a great player step up.
Great player, unbelievable performance. Antoine, between the third and the fourth quarter, you had some choice words for your teammate here. What did you say to help get him fired up?
I felt he was bailing him out. I felt he wasn't aggressive enough. Paul Pierce was letting them play him instead of forcing him to do things that he liked to do. I told him, I said, I don't know if we're going to win this game, but we got to show them during the game for that we're a real team. And Paul came out and was aggressive, went to the basket. And we came up with defensive stop, man. I've never been a part of nothing like this in my life, man. It's unbelievable, man.
When you consider the history of this franchise, right above us there are 16 championship banners hanging. Could that have provided inspiration for you today?
This crowd stayed with us, man. We got real fans, man. They didn't go nowhere. We was down 21 points. They could have easily went home. They stayed here and supported us, and we closed it out.
Now, how do you keep things under control emotionally? Because this series is not over.
Oh, not a long shot. We're playing against a great team, and they showed us tonight. They gave us their best shot tonight. They came in here and they played well, but we responded. So now we got a chance to go 3-1, and we got to take advantage of it.
All right, Lewis, PJ, one of the most amazing comebacks we've seen in NBA history. What do you say after a game like this?
Celtics refused to quit. They stepped up. Not enough help from the other New Jersey Nets. All the credit to Jim O'Brien and the Boston Celtics.
And they lead the series 2-1.
Sparked by Antoine's words and Pierce's performance, the Celtics pulled off the greatest fourth-quarter comeback in NBA playoff history, stunning the New Jersey Nets 94-90 in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. However, New Jersey would bounce back. They won the next 3 games to advance to the NBA Finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. Thanks for watching Hardwood Classics on NBA TV. We'll see you next time.